And I want to know whether the panel thinks that with the first tranche of Carter coming in just a few weeks' time, and without the Constitutional Affairs Committee having reported yet, we've had a sufficiently meaningful consultation process for such an important change.
Well, my learned friends have had a lot to say about consultation in the last week and found it was wanting in certain regards in other matters that have passed through the courts. We might as well distill that question down into two questions and ask Oliver Heald, first of all, this absolutely fundamental question about access to justice. Would a Conservative government, here's a dangerous question, would a Conservative government restore the constitutional process by which Parliament is consulted if access to justice is to be changed?
Well, John, it's an area we're reviewing at the moment, but I certainly think, it's a fair enough point to make, particularly as the consultation processes which the government have at the moment aren't as genuine, I don't think, as they should be. I mean, one only has to look at a process such as the one which Greenpeace highlighted. Now, you know, whatever your views about nuclear power are, I mean, the fact is, to have a consultation where halfway through the government announces the answer, that is not a genuine consultation. Consultation and honest government are very important, and it is something that we think needs to be looked at again, and we'll certainly be saying some more on the subject.
Oh, go on, say something.
I'm reviewing the situation. And you've got to commit yourself to the recognising access to justice as a constitutionalist, you must go to Parliament, and that you would reopen this entire business and consult.
Well, I can commit myself. The Tories can commit themselves. Now, well, I can and I will, unlike the lovely, cuddly Tories who, of course, have no commitments on any policy until they finish a long, lovely, cuddly consultation, which may go on forever and ever and ever, but there'll be something at the end of the day. But, Laura, I'm going to answer, you've asked a very good question. I'm going to answer it with two specific commitments, which I kept until tonight to make here. So you hear it here first. I thought you deserved it for all your efforts. The first is that it seems to me that the process that a select committee takes evidence, where at the moment there is no legislative necessity in primary and secondary legislation, should, out of courtesy, require us always to have the select committee and its evidence before we make any decisions. And I've made that clear in other contexts. I make it clear here tonight. It is absolutely nonsensical for any change to happen until Parliament has debated the report of the Constitutional Affairs Select Committee, having taken evidence, which it is now doing. So that's the first commitment. And we will try and stop any further. But the second is this, and I was thinking the other day about this. We voted the other day on, Oliver and I were all there, on the police support grant for police authorities. Parliament voted, every year we do it. We vote on the local authority grant. We vote on student tuition fees and whether they should go up. We vote every year on social security, uprating. Every year it comes to Parliament, has to be agreed by Parliament. It seems to me absolutely logical that for the other welfare state services, Parliament is required to agree changes in the fees. And I'm absolutely clear that we should and would make a commitment that Parliament has to make that decision rather than it is able to be made as an executive decision. Because otherwise, there is no accountability and there is no need to win public support. And that's the real failure. We can have the debates, we can have the discussion, we have Carter, we can have government response to Carter, we have Carrot and all her friends in the LSE giving their views, but in the end, there is no way of holding the government back, and that's a terrible, terrible indictment, and we ought to have a better parliamentary and constitutional system and make that commitment.
However, it's decided at the end of the day there will be a fixed budget, and it's how you go forwards and essentially divvy that up, and that's part of what we're into. And yes, there is a lot of consultation at the moment, and people are saying they've got consultation fatigue, and I totally accept that. And I haven't got many friends.
Thank you very much, Laura.
Carolyn is all on her own. I don't want to be too bitchy, I guess. I mean, there were 2,372 responses for the way ahead. The Constitutional Affairs Committee told me that they had received an absolutely unprecedented amount of responses. We are exhausted from doing it, but we don't mind putting the work in. We don't mind reading all 400 pages of Carter. But what we do mind is when it's just not listened to or taken into account. What is the point? And at the very least, if Parliament, as our democratic body, is not even going to look at this, then at least we should have something like a Royal Commission, something thorough, something public, and something transparent for such an important change.
Thank you, Laura, very much.